started after that break. My name is Richard Paulson. I'm the CEO of Ipsen North America and joined Ipsen 15 months ago. And I'm very pleased to be able to kick off the oncology overview we're going to do this afternoon. I'm going to start with an overview on our commercial highlights. Then we're going to have Dr. Sandy McEwen come and talk to our systemic radiation therapy program, and Dr. Jan Moore come and talk to our oncology R&D pipeline. So our strategy in oncology is to be a leader in solid tumors with a focus on high unmet need and well-defined patient populations. We're delivering with differentiated first or best-in-class assets that have achieved number 1 or 2 in each one of the markets they play. And we're doing that by achieving strong market share growth year over year. We're enabling ourselves to really leverage our strong oncology footprint across a number of markets. And our strategy is winning. We have delivered strong growth over the last 4 years. We look at the growth over the last 4 years from a CAGR perspective, it's 26%, constant exchange rates 30%, and as David talked to earlier, we have moved into a number 14 oncology company. We've moved 4 points since 2016. In 2016, we were ranked 18th. Now we've moved up to a top 15 player and are number 14. And what's very positive about this is we're seeing the momentum in each and every one of our products. There isn't any one product in our portfolio that is not growing. So first, if we start with Decapeptyl, a product which ex-US and Japan we've had for over 30 years. And Decapeptyl continues to deliver strong mid to high single-digit growth. And we see that continuing to happen for a number of years moving forward. And then if we go into Cabometyx, again, ex-US and Japan, in RCC and HCC, launched in 2016, we see that Cabometyx has established itself as a TKI of choice in second-line RCC with a 40% share. And then if we go to the US with Onivyde, in metastatic pancreatic cancer, again, in this area, launched in 2015, but Ipsen acquired Onivyde in 2017, we've seen that Onivyde is really changing the standard of care in a very tough-to-treat cancer, metastatic pancreatic cancer. We're evolving the number of patients who are getting access to second-line care and delivering strong growth now and moving forward. And then if we go to our blockbuster, Somatuline. Somatuline is performing exceptionally, and it's growing more than 2 times the pace of the market as we continue to deliver what we believe is the best-in-class SSA, and is delivering strong market growth and strong share growth moving forward. Now, Jan and Sandy will come and talk to our clinical programs that are in development as we move into the R&D section. So just to go into each product a little bit more in depth. Decapeptyl, an agent which is really the standard of care in androgen deprivation therapy in metastatic prostate cancer. We're seeing through very strong promotional efforts and focused commercial excellence, we're achieving strong share growth. And we expect that to continue moving forward. In our major indication, which is prostate cancer, we're very focused on moving to the 6-month formulation, which again, for patients is a huge benefit, higher compliance, and much more preferred by patients to only come in twice a year versus more often. So our Decapeptyl product moving forward, again, we continue to see strong single, mid to high digit growth over the near future. And then if we move into Cabometyx, ex-US and Japan. Again, first off, looking at RCC. Cabometyx, with a strong multi-TKI profile, has established itself as a TKI of choice in second-line RCC. It's done that because of its strong clinical profile. Overall survival, progression-free survival, response rates, a very strong profile, which has enabled us to establish ourselves as a leading TKI. Now, as we came to market in 2016 in Europe, there was a lot of new innovation for patients. And as we came to market, we also saw the IOs with Opdivo come to market, and they established a strong share as well. So we've seen kind of in the second-line market, about 50% of the market is in IOs with Opdivo, and about 50% of the market is in TKIs. We have 40% of that 50%. Now moving forward, what's great for patients is we continue to see innovation. So we're going to continue to see evolution in the RCC market. And in fact, as we just saw over the last few months, in the frontline setting, the IO-IO combinations, right? Opdivo, Yervoy. Great data, really moving into the front line. And also we're seeing IO TKIs when you take Keytruda and Axi. So again, in the front line, we expect to see, and what's been confirmed by guidelines, in US and in Europe, we expect to see the IO combinations really rapidly move into the front line. So as those IO combinations rapidly move into the front line, that 50% share that Opdivo has as a monotherapy in the second line will be available for TKIs. And with us as a leading TKI, we expect to garner the majority of that share. And we've already seen this come to fruition in the US. As in the US, post-IO, we've seen that Cabometyx has captured 90% share. So excellent opportunity for Cabometyx as we move forward in the second line in RCC. And this is another way to look at it kind of pictorially. What we expect to see, again, the IO opportunity in the front line really growing. And for some patients who aren't eligible for the IOs, of course, we're going to still have Cabometyx and other therapies for them. And then in the second line, that TKI opportunity expanding dramatically. And as the leading TKI, we'll capture the majority of that share. Excellent opportunity for us, and that's our view, but also as you look at what's been recommended by the European Association of Urology and the NCCN guidelines, that's how we see the standard of care evolving over the next few years. And then we go into our HCC opportunity. Again, it's very early days for us in terms of our HCC launch. We just got approval in the EU in November, and as we move forward again with great clinical data, overall survival, progression-free survival, we're seeing in 5 launch markets, the largest of those being Germany, we're already achieving a 30% share in the second line. So early days in terms of our launch, but a very strong progression, and we believe a very strong opportunity for Cabometyx as it moves forward in second line HCC. So as we look overall at Cabometyx, again, we see strong opportunity for Cabometyx to really grow over time. Second line RCC, we're confirming very strong opportunity to grow, confirming our target. In first line RCC, we talked about the opportunity after the IOs or for patients that aren't eligible for IO, really delivering on that. Delivering on our second line HCC opportunity. And then as Jan will talk to, of course, as a TKI of choice, we're doing a lot of clinical work with our partner Exelixis to really evolve Cabometyx into the future and combine it with many other agents and really combine it with IOs as well. Jan will talk to that in more detail. So if we shift to Onivyde in the US, with Onivyde, there's a significant opportunity in metastatic pancreatic cancer. This is a devastating disease. It has a 5-year survival rate of less than 3%. Still the number 3 cancer deaths through metastatic pancreatic cancer. So what we're working to do is really evolve the standard of care. And we're seeing with Onivyde, there's such a high unmet need. We have to help physicians and help patients get access to multiple lines of therapy, which they never had access to before. And we're doing that because Onivyde really is a differentiated product. Right? It has a unique profile with a great clinical profile where, again, strong superiority in terms of OS, PFS, and response rates, which allowed us to be the first and only FDA-approved therapy post-GEM in the metastatic pancreatic cancer patients. It also has allowed us to get a level 1, category 1 recommendation from NCCN. So as we look, our opportunity is really to continue growing and evolving the standard of care, helping patients get better access, and helping physicians better understand how to start sequencing patients, which is an opportunity they didn't have before in this setting. What we're going to see over time is by 2024, the market is going to grow dramatically, helping patients get access to more lines of therapy, other new agents that are going to be coming in. And we've been seeing this come to fruition over the last few years as Onivyde's been launched. Right, we're seeing in the second line and third line, we've already increased the number of patients who are getting treated, but there's a lot more to do because almost 40% of patients are still not getting treated in the second line. So for us as an organization, we're very focused on driving education, driving uptake in guidelines, and really helping to ensure that patients get access to multiple lines of therapy. And we're doing that in a very synergistic manner because we have about 65% overlap with our Somatuline business. So Onivyde and Somatuline together, we have a very strong oncology team, highly synergistic, and we're delivering growth. So in Q1, year over year, delivering about 20% growth. We expect to see, again, strong growth moving forward as we continue to evolve the standard of care. We've gotten acceptance on key pathways over the last few months, and as Jan will talk to, more and more clinical data coming out on Onivyde. And in fact, just as with Cabometyx, we see Onivyde having significant opportunity in a number of areas we're not yet in. First, delivering on our second line is our focus. Jan will talk to our evolution in terms of our first line trial. We're looking at it in second line, small cell lung, and also a number of other trials that Jan will talk to, where I believe Onivyde has significant potential moving forward outside of its current indication. And now if we move to our blockbuster, Somatuline. Somatuline, as we've talked to, we believe it's a best-in-class product in a very attractive market, the neuroendocrine tumor market, or NET market. And you see right in the middle that that market is growing double digits over the last 5 years. That's because of earlier diagnosis, and it's also because patients are staying on therapy longer. In fact, when you look at systemic radiation therapy, that's a second-line treatment which really allows patients to stay on therapy longer, and they do it in conjunction with an SSA. So we look at this market now, there's two main competitors, ourselves and Sandostatin LAR. And we believe long-acting SSAs are going to stay the standard of care, and we're going to continue to see this market grow at strong double-digit growth rates moving forward. We also believe, and as you see through the fact we're growing more than 2 times the market, we have a very differentiated product. We have a product which in the US has a broader label, tumor control, symptom control, extending progression-free survival. And we also have a product which is a deep subcutaneous injection versus a deep intramuscular injection. And for patients, for nurses, and for healthcare professionals, that makes a big difference in the real world. Right? Our product gets delivered 99% of the time correctly as a deep subcutaneous injection. When the medicine is delivered correctly, that allows the patients to get the outcomes that they deserve and that they would expect through our product. At the same time, our product helps save nurses, healthcare professionals time in terms of administration. And so when we look all together, we believe these benefits are being recognized and look at our growth moving forward. Now, we already had a lot of conversation about this with regards to the competitive market, so there's a lot of noise around this. You've heard from Aidan from a technical perspective, you heard from Amaric and David. So I'm not going to go into more detail with regards to the IP or the manufacturing, but I really want to spend some time in the middle. And that is the fact when you look at this market, patients are having therapy for multiple years. So you need to think about this market as more of a chronic care market. The patients will be on therapy for a number of years. As David touched on, you have about 10 to 15% of new patients per year. So as patients are on therapy for a long time, for a really tough disease, they want to stay on their therapy. And also they want to stay on their therapy with a delivery system that they trust, and they know they get the medicine they're supposed to get. So when you look at the chronic nature of this area, and you also look at our delivery system, we believe patients will want to stay with lanreotide through Ipsen. And we're seeing our growth moving forward. So when you look at what we've been doing, again, our growth is growing more than 2 times the market with 25% CAGR over the last 3 years. We've achieved blockbuster status in 2018. Our market shares continue to grow, and we have more opportunity to grow. Looking at TRX, we're about 30 to 35% now in the US and about 50% in Europe. So we're in a growing market, which is growing about 11%. We're growing our share more than 2 times the market. We believe that Somatuline will be a blockbuster for many years to come. And again, when you look at the NET market, what's critical to think about is the growing market as patients are diagnosed earlier and as patients stay on therapy longer. Growing our share inside a growing market. And this is kind of a nice pictorial way to look at what we talked to, but this is a chronic care market. Right? Look at the green bars at the top. Those are the new patients coming in. But the blue bars are those patients continuing on therapy for a long time. So the more share we get, the more patients we get on therapy now, it's like an annuity over time that continues as patients continue on therapy over time. And moving forward, why we're so positive about continuing to grow our share is the fact that we have a delivery system that's very differentiated versus our competitor. And we're continuing to invest in delivery. Delivery matters. So right now, We are in the process of launching a new delivery system in Europe, and pending approval, launching a new delivery system towards the second half of this year in the US. When you look at our delivery system, again, patients get our medicine 99% of the time. There's shorter injector prep time. There's a low risk of clogging. The medicine is there. You just inject it. And so all that together really leads to patients getting the outcomes and nurses and healthcare professionals not having to deal with the challenges of other delivery systems. So we're excited about our launch. It's early days in the EU, but as we move forward, and as I stated, we believe with the momentum we have, growing more than 2 times the market, with the great real-world data we have, and with a new delivery system, we see Somatuline to be a blockbuster for years to come. So with that, I want to introduce Dr. Sandy McEwen, who's going to take us through the next evolution of our neuroendocrine tumor portfolio. Sandy.